fix this. My fingers suck. I am an MMO boomer. I started playing Star Wars Galaxies in 2003. It was my first MMO. Well, actually, I guess RuneScape was my first MMO, but I thought it was so terrible. And before that, I played a Lord of the Rings Mud, which was like those text-based games. And I just thought those were... I actually thought the Mud was more interesting than RuneScape for some reason. I don't know how a 12-year-old comes to those conclusions, but hey, here I am. Started Star Wars Galaxies in 2003, and I played every single year till now. The game shut down in 2011, and I thought I would make a video talking about where it is 10 years after the shutdown. Now, it's not been a total 10 years. It shut down in December of 2011, but now we're in the year 2021. And while it's been an interesting past year, the past 10 years for MMOs have been up and down and big hype over games that performed poorly, mostly Korean games. And then there's that scam citizen everyone loves to talk about. Sorry if you invested in that. I'm not trying to bash you, but you got scammed, bro. Star Wars Galaxies. It was a interesting experiment of a game. In fact, after having played it for so long, I am pretty sure the whole game is an accident, like accidentally great. So I guess I wanted to talk about where it's gone in the past 10 years since the live server shut down, because the game has been kept afloat by emulators. That's right, there's a very passionate group of coders and developers out there who really love Star Wars Galaxies and Star Wars in general. Now, you heard me say emulators, and that's because SWG had 3 very unique eras of the game. We have the pre-combat upgrade era, which was the era before the combat upgrade, which was the second era. And then after the combat upgrade, there was the NGE, or New Game Enhancements. Each of these eras of SWG are massively, massively different from each other. They're basically 3 different games, except for one of the things that didn't change, which is Jump to Light Speed, which was Star Wars Galaxy's first expansion that let players play in space, which is basically its own game. And then the crafting game, which is also sort of mostly unchanged between the eras, basically. So, it's been 10 years since SWG shut down. Where is Star Wars Galaxies now? Well, there are 2 major emulators with a potential third on the way. One is SWG EMU, Star Wars Galaxies Emulator, which seeks to represent the pre-CU side of things, so the pre-combat upgrade era. Then there's SWG Legends, which is representing the NGE side of emulation. There are actually smaller servers of both these eras, but these are the main projects that really kick-started the game for those eras. There's a third one coming up called SWG Restoration 3, or Restoration as I just call it, or Resto, which is seeking to create the combat upgrade era. This is actually the second attempt someone has made at recreating the CU, as there was another project called CU Emulator that actually tried to recreate the game using SWG EMU's code with the CU client. Because again, these 3 different eras of the game use different clients, because they're essentially 3 different games. So I'm going to talk about now the standing of each one, or where they're at, each project. It seems to me SWG EMU has had the longest yet roughest ride so far. They basically made this game from scratch to emulate the pre-CU version of SWG, starting back in 2006 and still lasting up until now. They've dealt with numerous issues, but one thing they have going on their side is that they are a completely legal emulator, meaning they won't be shut down as far as I can see. One thing you learn whenever you see a game outlast its original self is you see a lot of min-maxing over the years. So the game has been min-maxed to hell, and problems that we didn't get to see during live crop up, such as credit inflation, which is the main currency of SWG, and essentially credits becoming worthless due to how loot works. Now, that isn't going to mean that SWG EMU won't deal with these problems. SWG EMU's stated goal has been to hit SWG's 14.1 patch before doing anything else, which is the patch directly before the CU. Then once they hit that, then they could start operating and fixing things and modifying the game and, you know, really turning the game into something more ideal for SWG pre-CU players. Now the next server is SWG Legends. Now that actually is, in my opinion, or at least from what I can see, is the most populated server. SWG Legends is representing the NGE. That is what they are playing. They have made some modifications, not too many though, but they are having an expansion, which is totally free. They don't charge players, coming out on May 4th, which will be the planet Bespin. So you'll be able to go check out the clouds and fly around in new space areas and stuff like that. SWG Legends is using code from SWG's 2010 year. So there was code that got leaked, and that allows Legends to have pretty much perfect code as the game was during live. So that's really cool. It's a big server, lots of players, definitely feels like it's alive. Probably the most alive feeling server that there is right now. The admin of the server, Roarash, has been very active on social media and seems to be a really nice dude. And I can say that SWG Legends staff seems to be pretty top notch as far as I can tell. Same goes for SWG EMU staff, by the way. I want to get that out there. Now for my favorite era of the game, the combat upgrade. There's been two projects that have attempted to remake the combat upgrade. The first is Combat Upgrade Emulator, or CU EMU. That one is dormant. The website no longer works. There's just a Discord in which no one has posted in months, and the servers have been shut down for a couple years now. There was a closed alpha, and I did participate in it, and it was very smooth, very clean, very cool, very CU pure server. However, another challenger has risen up, and that server is called SWG Restoration 3, which is a server that seeks to recreate the combat upgrade and then continue it as if it had been developed by SOE. So some of the features that were in the NGE are brought into this server. Now what they're doing is they're reverse engineering NGE code, which a lot of the NGE code that was leaked has leftover code from pre-CU and CU eras of the game. And they're making it work with the NGE client so it plays and feels exactly like the CU, which is super cool. I mean, there were so many quality of life updates the NGE had that this was really kind of a logical step for them. Will it succeed? Well, I don't know. The launch is on May 3rd, and we'll see what happens then. It's been in beta since the last half of last year, and they've been working diligently on it. Now, the thing about these emulators, all of them, is none of them are paid to develop, which is why SWG EMU has been taking so long. People are literally doing this in their spare time, and that is cause for slow development. Bespin, I don't even know how long Bespin took for SWG Legends, but it's taken a long time, and it's taken a long time to get these CU emulators up. And SWG pre-CU isn't even fully finished, although there are servers that have gone ahead and opened up using SWG EMU's open source code and tried to modify the game in ways they see fit. That's basically where SWG is at in 2021. Honestly, looking at all the servers, I think SWG still has a bright future. I know that there's people that want to create like museums, like history museums. And so far these developers are doing a good job of like keeping true to the game and like, you know, keeping the game going and seeing where development could have headed. I don't have much more to say than that. I'm a huge fan of SWG. I'm a MMO boomer. I've played tons of MMOs, tons of dead MMOs now. And yeah, that's all I had to say for today. I'm going to link all 3 servers in the description, and I'm also going to leave a link to my Twitch account where you can catch me streaming. I mostly play SWG Emu or the CU server. That's about all I play. I'm not really interested in playing the NGE. It's just not my cup of tea. Although if you're interested in play it, you should absolutely give it a try. And that's all I've got to say for today. Y'all have a good day, good night, wherever you're at, and I'll catch you later.